Good evening. Oh, well, maybe I should say good afternoon. Hello. By the way, we're changing our schedule as of next week. As of next week, we will be on during the daytime.
Yes, we will be.
And we'll be doing interviews then. So that may delay some interviews and backtrack, and we might have to do some music shows. Oh, yeah, we're going to have a music show during the day, too.
Yes, we are.
Different types of music, all indie, based on who we've had on and who we're going to have on. Those that are mainstream don't need our help, period.
Exactly. They don't.
But today we have Incardinine Coven. And I said that wrong. I do apologize. It is Incardinine Coven. Carnadine.
Okay, that's interesting. I think that's a really neat name.
I have no idea what it means, but
it's interesting. It's neat because I've never heard it before.
we definitely will have the band, explain what that means and a lot more things. But the great thing about this phenomenal band is not only have they toured out in the UK.
Where else have they toured?
Which, believe it or not, the UK is a lot harder to tour in. Let me explain why. In the USA, if you go to a bar, you may have 20 people, 30 people watching. But in the UK, because they're so jam-packed with people, that even a little bar could be like a huge club out here.
Very true. And where else have they toured besides,
they've toured, out in England as well as over in Belgium.
That's neat. That's cool.
At the Kraken Metal Fest in 2013.
Oh, wow.
All right, and has one of the members arrived?
Yeah, we're in Incardinine Coven.
Okay.
How are you today?
We're English, don't you? Yeah, we're good.
Well, welcome.
We're well, and we're used to the sarcastic nature. Don't worry about it.
They will get on fine.
Sure will.
There we go. So who are we speaking with today? What members are, available today?
I'm Stephen. I'm a bassist.
Welcome, Stephen.
I'm Daniel Signal. I'm a guitarist, allegedly.
I'm Rebecca. I'm the lead singer.
I'm Chris, and I'm the drummer.
Still there? Hey guys, can you still hear us?
We
Yes,
can hear you
we can hear
fine,
you.
and you're coming through clear.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Welcome.
Okay, and I'm Jenna, the keyboardist.
All right. So we have five of y'all. So the whole band's here.
We're all crowded around one phone.
The gang's all here.
Wait, well, y'all could have called from your own phone, and it would have been fine. But first off, I want to say congrats, because I spoke with Jenna, and I heard that Rebecca is having a baby or has a baby. Is that correct?
I'm waiting. It's 2 weeks since my due date.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
I was 2 weeks late with my son, too. Trust me, I know how you feel.
That must be very painful right now.
No, I'm fine. I'm just kind of, a bit fed up waiting for it to arrive. But what can I do?
Yeah, it's
I
like
think we should go away.
Hope it won't arrive in the next, half an hour.
it's like hurry up already.
Trust me,
Yeah.
I felt that way
I think
when I was late with my son 2 weeks also, and it drove me nuts.
Yeah. I think it's a bit too comfy in there.
We know that it already likes the metal. It's been kicking like mad. I think it's got a better double kick technique than our drummer. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe the baby, when he
Enjoy
gets
the
older, will be playing drums.
Sorry?
I said maybe when the baby grows up, maybe the baby will be playing drums.
I wouldn't be surprised. The kicks I've been getting.
Already started.
Little drummer boy. All right, so.
I don't know if it's a boy or girl, but yeah.
Oh, I apologize. Little drummer girl.
I don't know. It could be either. I don't know.
It could be twins in there. You never know.
Oh my my god.
Oh, don't tell her that.
Yeah.
Don't scare
That might
her.
explain all the kicking. That would freak me out.
That would explain all the kicking, though.
Yeah.
All right. You know, the first question we have is Incardinine Coven. What the hell does that mean for those out here in the U.S.?
Firstly, congratulations for getting the name right.
You're one of the first.
You're the first one who can actually pronounce it. So.
Incardinine Coven, yeah. So Incardinine means blood red,
Okay.
and I basically we were just thinking, what can we call the band, and I was just looking at interesting words, and it's one I found. There's not really much more interesting stories than that. Just really liked the name, but there were a couple of bands that already were called Incardinine, believe it or not. There's one in Australia, and there's one in India, and all sorts.
Plus, also, Rebecca used to be in a cult.
So I thought we could add coven to it because that means like a group, and which we are. So
we were also thinking, how can we confuse people more?
Yeah.
Because Incardinine isn't difficult enough to
Let's
pronounce.
make it more difficult.
Yeah, so it's Coven, Coven.
Yeah.
What's funny is I pronounced it, but I spelt it wrong on the broadcast.
We'll forgive
Oh
you.
well, it's a radio show, so spelling doesn't matter.
There you go. What's funny is I started off in forums and they're like, well, you can't type worth a damn, so how the hell do we know what you're saying? So I, started doing podcasts, and I'm like, well, here you go. Now you know what I'm saying.
Now you can hear us instead of watching our type.
All right. So what's the backstory of the band? When were you all formed, and how'd you all meet?
Well, basically, it started with a drunken night, as many good ideas have been formed. Me and Rebecca used to be in a choir together, and we were on a little bit of a tour jaunt up in Cheltenham. And after the last gig, lubricated by several glasses of wine, me and her started talking, and I said to her, quite inebriated, that I've always wanted to work in the metal aspect with soprano vocals. And damn her if she didn't remember the next day that I said this. And we started writing songs together, and it really, really gelled. We both, get on with each other. And after that, we started recruiting other local musicians, Steve from a local band called Curry, and it just basically formed on from that. And we started playing live, which is the first time that you've ever played live with a band, I think.
Yeah,
that was quite good.
Mm.
So that's the backstory. It's very sort of like classically arranged, but Rebecca hadn't had any formal metal training, as if there is such a thing, and I can't read music for shit. So.
Yeah, we started gigging in summer 2012, and Jenna joined us October 2013. Yeah. So I'm still the newbie in the band, very much. So we were a 4-piece for quite a long time.
Mm. Yeah, Jenna's first 3 gigs were quite interesting. The first one was a burlesque gig, that you were playing with a violinist. The second one was in Basingstoke, which preempts to our gig to go over to Belgium. So our third gig was played in front of several people, several hundred people.
Several hundred, yeah. Yeah, we hired a coach to Belgium with another band.
Yeah, that's tricky.
And so we basically travelled through the night and had no sleep, and then played a full festival the next day.
No.
It was like nearly 24, more than maybe 36 hours without any real sleep.
There were some very, very sleepy Incarnadines, wasn't there?
Yeah.
But it's all basically come to a head, Ray, this year when we recorded the EP, Army of Ghosts. I've always wanted to record some music with this band, because it's always been around on my Cubase project and stuff with electronic drums. It was nice to hear Chris in full flow, and we're very proud of the product, and I hope you guys like it too.
Yeah, absolutely love it.
Yes.
The funny thing is, Rebecca, I believe that's the singer, correct? Miss Miss currently in labor or at any moment. I love how you mentioned Evanescence, because I actually seen Evanescence and she was wearing a butterfly costume and everything. And
All right.
I've heard her, her sing, but live, I have to say she doesn't sound the exact same as what you hear in, the studio. However, I've listened to, had the pleasure of listening to your band over on YouTube and everything, and y'all sound the same as your studio. So, I mean, it's not using, technology. It's more of, okay, I'm naturally this good, so deal with it.
Yeah, well, I'm certainly more of a live singer, like through my class, because I've got more classical background. So for me, that's what I'm used to, and it's the studio that's a bit sort of foreign, to be honest. So I kind of, when we recorded the vocals, I just imagined I was performing, so I do it that way around, really.
What do you guys
try to play to our strengths? I mean, I'm not going to be the most technically gifted guitarist in the world, but if you could arrange a song so there's absolutely no solos in it and it still comes off as a decent song, then that ticks my box.
That's your skill.
Plus we also have we do have Rebecca. She's our not a secret weapon. She's just like a nuclear weapon.
Wow.
So we all come on looking a little bit meek and sheepish. Let's rip with this.
What do you guys like to do when you're not performing?
What do we do?
What do you like to do when you're not performing? Like, if you don't have to perform, you just have a day just to relax. What do you guys like to do on a normal day with nothing to do?
Well, we all like keeping fit. I mean, it helps you when you're, helps you when you're gigging, carrying all your gear around.
Funny. Yeah.
I'd actually like to phone up like American chat shows and see whether or not they could give us an interview.
Well, we only give talent, so if y'all weren't talented, you wouldn't be here. So.
Oh, thank you. That's very sweet.
But here's the thing: y'all are from Reading, England, and the thing is, for those that would hear in America, they don't understand. England is, as far as people wise, has more people in central locations. So for bands, there's more bands out there, and there's the shows are bigger, so there potentially could be more people not liking the music. So the England bands actually have to work harder, believe it or not.
Or it's probably harder for them to get a gig because there's so many bands, I'm sure. Am I right about that?
I think it works both ways, actually. So, yes, there are more bands per square meter, as it were. But the opportunities are a lot more frequent. So you do have... it's kind of like a double-edged sword, really. You do end up competing with a lot of bands, but I mean, it's if you've got the goods to deliver, then you will get the gigs and you will get higher up in the chain.
There's a lot of small gigs a lot of the time. Very cool.
No, that's fine. We had a whole system where we'd hold our hands up before we wanted to talk. But Rebecca's just ignored that. She has the right. She has the rights of everything.
Hey, she's the top of the base. She gets to.
Well, what I wanted to say was that we're actually quite lucky because there's not many bands that have a voice like Rebecca's. They're not soprano fronted. There are a few female fronted metal bands out there, but they tend to be more of the rocky kind of type of voice, whereas we're aiming for that sort of classical influence. So that slims down the amount of competition, as it were. That means we can all just kick back and just relax and we have to practice.
What?
We don't put very much effort into our playing at all, really. stand around and let Rebecca do the thing. And we just hit our instruments like I do. You know?
It's not as if we practice in practice rooms.
No.
Armpits.
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen.
You haven't been practicing at all without me, have you?
No.
Oh, sure.
Essentially, we just go to the practice room and just sit down, play Yahtzee.
Yeah. Oh, it was a great game last week, by the way.
Yeah, you know what we were saying about sarcasm earlier? Yeah. In Spain.
Yeah.
So what was it like playing for the Kraken Metal Fest in 2013 over in Belgium?
It was the opportunity of a lifetime for us. I mean, we played before that. We played probably in front of about 20 people at maximum, maybe 30. So to go over to another country first, which was a first for all of us, and play in front of what was 150, 200 people was absolutely amazing. We were all just completely humbled by the experience because the crowd over there just absolutely went mental for us. They absolutely loved us, and we felt like rock stars for the day. Yeah, we were completely and utterly just humbled by the experience, and you know, I would love to go back there, especially just to Europe, you know, and play again. It was.
Yeah, I'd just like to reiterate Chris's point about the European average metal fan being more exuberant than your English counterparts. It's amazing, actually. They just seem to kind of lock in and kind of get it, whereas sometimes the enthusiasm is not as evident as it is when there's an English crowd on the show. They can still enjoy it, but they tend to sort of bob their heads and sway sort of mildly rather than jump around. And
Yeah, I find over in England is that the crowds are always very stationary. They don't tend to move much. They'll clap at the end, but it's almost like they're just being polite in a way, whereas over in Europe, people were loving it. It was almost like watching Stars in Your Eyes or something, where people are whistling even at the beginning of songs and they recognise them. But people were whistling even before you'd finished the song, like drawing your playing and going absolutely nuts for it. And then afterwards we had people running up to us. And like Chris was saying, it was like being rock stars today, then you've got to go back to your day job.
Well, for me, the highlight was just having a massive stage. It meant I can run around and not hit Dan or Rebecca with my face, you know what I mean? They got
still managed it, though.
Do you guys think you'll ever perform maybe in the
US?
US?
What is it like over in the US? Are they pretty exuberant? Are they like the European ones or like the UK ones?
You know, it depends. It depends on where you're at. It depends on the crowd. Sometimes out here, if the crowd's not into it, they'll just be texting on their phone or whatnot.
But if they're really into your music, then they'll cheer and clap and everything else and jump around and sing your music or whatever,
Yeah, exactly, and put up their lighters and everything else.
Exactly.
What I love about this band, if I try to pronounce it based on the way I wrote it, forget about it. But Incardinine Coven, what I love about them is that they're not just screaming every band. Every song. That just gets on my nerves. Just the yelling, screaming. Every once in a while it's fine, but
we can actually understand what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
When we hear your songs, I can listen to your songs and learn the lyrics because I'm listening to it, and you're not just screaming in my ear.
Yeah. I was exactly going to make that point earlier that we find over here in the UK, we basically have to play with screamy bands all the time because that's what the scene is like over here. There are some bands that sort of sing or they do a bit of both, but, on a lineup of 4 or 5 bands, nearly all of them will be pretty much sounding the same, just screaming and, rhythmic. Whereas over in Belgium, the whole lineup they were all singing properly, and that seems to be much more appreciated over there as well.
Well, I think it is a definite skill to be able to scream well.
Yeah.
But it's one of those skills that you can get away with by not being very good at.
Exactly. Like anybody could scream, but can you understand what the hell they're saying?
interesting at the time, but then they're instantly forgettable.
Give me a good solid hook anyway.
Yeah, that's yeah. So yeah, it'd be nice to have more variety over here, I think.
It'd be good to hear just people sing and sing well. That's the thing. I think a lot of people make up from the fact that singing is such an underrated skill that they can just get away with just grunting and shouting into a microphone, and because we call ourselves metal, because that's what I like to think of our genre, we get lumped in with bands which are all genty and all very technically minded, great musicianship, instantly forgettable. Couldn't pick you out of a crowd. Whereas we don't have the musicianship maybe on certain levels, but we've got songs that will send you home humming.
Yeah, they're catchy, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Like it.
I feel like I'm a little mistaken because when I originally because I got a lot of friends out in England and whatnot, and but based on the friends that I have, I've seen that the locations are bigger, so I figured the shows would be bigger. But then again, when you have more bands, it can be smaller. So I do apologize. And I wasn't making fun of Evanescence in any way, shape, or form. I was just saying, based on what I heard live, it wasn't the same from what I heard in the studio. But being that said, I love how all your songs are story driven. Who came up with that concept?
Bit of a mixture of me and Dan, really, for most of them.
I will still never ever forgive Rebecca for making one of the best songs I think that we've written together, Marble Heart. The vocal concept comes from what, Rebecca?
I have sadly hanging my head in shame, Twilight. Just because when I heard it,
Glowing vampires.
it gave me this vision of that scene in the film when the car's driving through the forest.
You see her? You hear her trying to defend this.
It's failing. That's it. What can I say?
No, but a lot of the lyrics, we'd like to hinge it around something that people can hook themselves into. I think we differ both in our lyrical style. She likes to write a story which has a story.
I like a concept.
Like
for
a
a song.
concept.
Yeah.
And I like to make my lyrics a little bit more opaque so that it leaves the interpretation up to the listener. And also the advantage is that you can actually hear Rebecca singing them, which is a relief. It's good that you pick up on that. We do put quite a bit of work into the lyrics rather than just what Cannibal Corpse did, which is to take their lyrics straight out of a medical textbook.
I totally understand that. I mean,
we tend to collaborate, so I'll come up with like a concept and I'll write it out sort of quite long, in a long format, and then me and Dan will work together. And Dan's very good at sort of getting more of the sort of rhythm of it, and the syntax. So he'll take the idea I've got, but then use some twist the words in some of the words in his way, and then so some of it stays mine. It ends up being
the online thesaurus is our friend.
For some of our newer songs as well, I've also started writing some lyrics as well. Yeah. And then what I'll do is I'll email them round to the band and see what people think, and then get feedback that way, and then revise it then and make it fit with the music.
Yeah, I guess
obviously it still needs adjusting and things like that.
It makes it less stale. There's a lot more personal input from people.
Have you ever thought of maybe pitching like a song or two possibly to a movie, or because I can see a lot of your songs in like a vampire movie or a horror movie, something like really cool.
Twilight. It's a shame there's no more Twilight. You could send more parts to them.
There you go. but.
Yeah, definitely that.
No, we haven't seriously thought about that.
But you're right. I mean, some of the we would dearly love to make a music video, and it's something I think that we've been throwing around ideas for, because we've got some very evocative visual imagery that goes on with the lyrics. So it would be fun one time to, but we need our singer fit and healthy.
I'm fit and healthy.
She's fit and healthy. She's just a baby.
I will say Rebecca's a very strong person because I've known many people that have had, babies, and when they're ready to go labor or, past that dude, they're not happy. They're all like miserable and screaming.
And that guy's not bothering to come out.
It's wonderful in there. Charging entry.
So, what's each of y'all's favorite song on the EP or the album, and why is it meaningful to you?
For me, it's actually Journey's End, because it's my first ever stab at doing some backing vocals, so that's been quite a learning point for me.
That's Steve.
That's me, yeah, Stephen on bass.
He does the growl.
All right.
You're welcome. He does the welcome.
There you go.
For me, it's My Hypocrisy, because it's one of my favourite tracks to sing live. It's really heavy, and I wrote all the words to that, and it's quite a personal one for me. So.
For me, Daniel Bignell, guitarist, it's a long time dead, because it was the first time that I've ever thought about doing a 3-part harmony. And it came out, I was so pleased, because Chris has always been threatening to put himself forward to be a vocalist. He said, yeah, I could be a vocalist. So I said, right, bring it on. And he did, and he brought the goods, and I think it's an amazing track. And we got a friend of ours who is a choir director to score the outro, and that's why you can hear a choir at the end of the track. And I just think it's an amazing earworm at the end of it. It's one of those things that you can just go home humming. We also heard a really, really good story about it.
Say that, yeah.
You want to tell it?
Oh yeah, one of our friends who's actually in that choir, she got the EP from us, and she's a teacher and she's going for a new job, and she drove to her interview with REP on repeat, and with stand tall and fight, you warriors,
you warriors.
Going round and round in her head, and the interview went fine, and then she listened to it on the way home, and then they rang her up and said that they thought she was really good, but they wanted to offer a different job, which was not as many hours and not as much money and stuff. It wasn't really what she'd gone for. And she heard that in her head, and she fought for the job that she'd actually gone for, and she got it.
Incredibly humbling. It's
really
like that. The first kind of real world example that I've heard of something that you write, on the tour bus back from Belgium, actually having an impact in someone's life. It's incredibly humbling. And
she heard those words going around her head as she was on the phone, and just thought, no, I'm going to stand tall and fight.
You watched it, she pulled out a samurai sword.
Yeah. What's your favourite, Chris?
Well, like I say, Dan kind of he didn't pressure me into doing the 3-part harmony. I kind of half volunteered, but
you really into the trapdoor.
So being a drummer, I'm usually in the background and I'm not really in the forefront of things. I'm used to just being the loudest, but not necessarily the most prominent. So having the opportunity to stand up in front of all these people and start singing and projecting my voice, making people happy about what I'm doing, that was a really good opportunity for me, and it's actually helped me sort of just come out of my shell a little bit. Yeah, I definitely think Long Time Dead is my favourite on the EP.
Yeah, you did really good job there.
And lastly, I think my favourite one is definitely Journey's End. It's one of the first ones I learned to play, and I just really enjoy playing it as well. It's fun to play, and I get to play all the way through the song, so for me that one's a winner.
People would love that one.
All right. So, what was the feedback from the fans when you were, out in Belgium? Because you said it was different from in England. You said everybody is there, but it's like, okay, they're not really in tune until the end, and then they all clap, and it's like, okay, you don't know if it's a pity clap or not. But in Belgium, well, that's how you said it. That's how I'm like relaying it here.
The way it differed was, from the get go, from the straight off, they all seemed really involved in the music over in Belgium. So you didn't. There wasn't.
One woman was screaming.
Yeah, so we had like one lady just going absolutely mental in the crowd and screaming all the way through the gig, and I think she was liking it. I hope she was liking the music. Yeah, I was a pain.
I told my mom not to come to that gig.
So yeah, it didn't seem as much kind of. When that happens, when you know people are into the music from the very beginning, it's a lot easier to play because you know people are getting involved in the music and you know that you're putting on a good show. Whereas in England, you have to put a lot more effort into the actual show itself, and you have to generate the interest in your band a little bit more. So I think it's not a fact that we were getting people coming saying, "Oh, well done," that kind of thing. It was, we do get positive feedback from the guys in England. It's just a different kind of feedback.
Okay.
It's just very overwhelming. As soon as we finished, those people just running over, with mobbing us, demanding photographs, demanding interviews, just gushing over how much they liked it.
Yeah, people are more reluctant to emote in England, whereas they have no such shame in Belgium.
Having said that, though, Days of Darkness, though, people were very enthusiastic.
That is true, actually. Yeah. But then that was a very specific female-fronted festival. When you talk about our general gigs that are more the growly kind, we're a bit different. We get a different reaction there than we do at, say, a female-fronted focus festival where everyone's expecting the kind of band we are.
We were surrounded by peers, so that obviously helped because people were, knew what type of metal they were going to see, and they were there for the specific purpose of hearing our types of music.
Yeah.
So they were very much more involved in that sort of specific gig.
True, but even then, though, as well, the fans, they were coming up to us even before we played, and they were asking for photos and buying the EP and asking for it to be signed as well. And then afterwards, we had even more of the same again. So it wasn't still quite the same enthusiasm during the playing, but there was a lot of enthusiasm though before and after as well, though. But like Rebecca said, it was specific.
Enthusiasm towards certain members of the band. I wonder if you can work out which ones they are.
Yeah, did you get grabbed at the point?
I did not.
Did you have 4 people lining up?
I did not.
I got one photo, but that's because I was wearing a skirt, I think.
What?
All right, that's something I wasn't expecting, but okay.
Neither were we, Ray. Neither were we. It's one admission I did not see forthcoming.
It was a weekend, so...
Yeah, it was a weekend, yeah. Only after 8 p.m.
Christine.
We're a very open band.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to give you a bit of a breather, and we're going to play My Hypocrisy, and then we'll come back and we'll ask you some more questions.
Okay, thank you.
All right. This is 86.5 local radio, and this is My Hypocrisy by Incardinine Coven, if I can say the word right.
This tragedy
You're listening to Two Local Radio with Incardinine Coven. All right, this is Two Local Radio with Incardinine Coven. So, out of all the places that you played, Belgium aside, what was your favorite, tour or favorite place to play out in England?
It was probably for me. There's a local place called the Face Bar that we played in the burlesque evening. So we had so each of the acts was interspersed with a burlesque act, which was of course exciting and incredibly visually stimulating.
Very so.
We got a friend of mine who was a violinist, so he wrote a song specifically for that. That was kind of like a jaunty sort of pirate piece. That was pretty fun to do. That of all, I mean, it's the ones that we played away. It's been Stafford, Dames of Darkness in Bilston, and of course Belgium.
Yeah, I think there's a local pub as well which we play quite regularly, and we've had some really good intense gigs there because it can only fit about 10 people in the crowd when you've got the band on there, so it's really like intimate and sweaty. As it would be a word I'd use, but they tend to be quite intimate, and we've had some really good gigs there as well because you get up close and personal with the crowd, really.
You're talking about the Butler, aren't you?
The Butler,
yeah.
We like to play venues beginning with the and a good venue is one that you can smell the armpit smell of the front row. I think
This is a garage.
It is a garage, yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I mean, we were listening to your songs. I really like them.
Oh,
Thank you.
I like the fact that it's different. It's not like every other music you hear, like on the radio and stuff. It's different, and it's like it catches your eye and your ear, and it makes you listen and want to hear. I was telling.
We make a lot of effort to try and be a little bit different. It's very easy. Sometimes we actually slip into making Creed songs in the little idle moments of practice because it is so easy. It's a 3-chord quiet section leading up to a heavy chorus. It's so easy to do. Whereas if you can put like a little bit of an odd time and you can play around a little bit with the quiet, loud dynamics, I think it makes for a more interesting hearing.
I say viewing as well.
Well, people see me when I'm in my bedroom.
Exactly.
This is absolutely funny because last night we had a band from L.A. and they were talking about blow up dolls and everything else.
Yeah.
And here today, y'all are talking about burlesque shows.
Yeah, they actually brought a blow up doll.
Blow up alien that's the mascot of the band.
They actually brought the blow up doll on stage in the video with them. I'm sorry, it was in the video.
Yeah, I think they've done it on stage
Probably too, yeah.
But I mean, this
Okay.
this band is very interesting as well.
Oh no, I'll blow up alien. He stays away from the stage.
That's the first time I've heard of a blow up alien.
He'll be making an appearance in the next Incardinine Coven video.
Well, having said that, he will be in the making of the EP though. There's going to be a video being uploaded pretty soon to YouTube. the making of the EP. Yeah, so
Awesome.
you'll see our blow up alien mascot then.
Are you guys gonna put a guitar in his hand and everything?
No, he doesn't play guitar.
No, he's more. I think he's a vocalist. Actually.
Oh, he's a vocalist. Ah.
He squeaks if you squeeze his body.
Yeah, if you squeeze him
In the right place.
So,
You catch him unawares.
so if you had your way, you have phenomenal music and everything. In 5 years, where could you see yourself as far as the band, and where do you think it will go?
I'm going to give quite a non-standard answer. We all have lives and we all have different priorities and obligations and things, and including something which is very expectant. Rebecca's a cat, get on with it. So we're not looking to take over the world or anything. But if we can make good music and we can have more stories like the interview story that you heard, and we can continue to progress as musicians, and if we have some fun along the way, then I think I'll count that as a win.
And that's
Echo that sentiment as well. Yeah, I definitely think that we're not really like set out for success, but if it happens, and we'll enjoy it when it happens.
I'd like to do more of the stuff like Kraken and more of the stuff like Dames of Darkness, and there's festivals out there that we can, and there's a definite scene we can ingratiate ourselves into. It would be nice to become better at that, and to look at the next band and think, right, I'm going to get more likes than you on Facebook, you followers, and then doing it. And if we can make some better music and progress as musicians along the way, then I think ace.
Yeah, it's actually in the States, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. We have some connections over in the US because my wife is American, so we've got some connections in upstate New York and Philadelphia as well. So we would really like to come over and play a gig as well.
nice. We actually will drive all the way from out here to out there if y'all took a plane out to New York.
Trust me, we will.
Oh, thanks. We'll be sure to keep you informed then. But yeah, I would just like to reiterate as well those points. I just think if we can do more gigs and play at more festivals, then that would be awesome, and just having fun making the music.
You never know. By the time you guys get done, you may get popular in the U.S. and you may tour the U.S. Yeah, not the U.S.
They could be popular in the U.S. as of today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they could get so
With
popular.
radio attention like this, I think that's a distinct possibility.
There will be people here that will want your music and will want to hear it and want to see you perform and stuff.
Oh, also, you have to remember, Facebook, I take that as point and value. What you have as far as likes is normal. When you see like 90,000, 300,000, most of that time, that's just marketing. That's all that is. They pay a marketing team to get likes for them.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, interesting. Thanks.
I see it all the time. Like we have this one girl that submitted, and she's got like over 1 million Facebook likes and then like 100 and something Twitter likes, and I'm like, yeah, really.
Is she any good?
I don't know, but that doesn't. If you put one and one together, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. There's something that we say in the UK, and that's breaking the states, like breaking into the US, which is always really difficult for British fans. So
I don't think it would
we hope this is like the gateway. To
we have such perfect English accents.
I know.
How can we not go down the form, my dear?
I think it's difficult for commercial bands, but we're not really that, are we?
Yeah. Maybe Two Locos your drug.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree with you on that, Ray. I definitely do. What was I going to ask you? I had a question. Go ahead. I lost.
So, You all said you all have different lives. Well, what do y'all do when you're not as far as work? I mean, is it music wise or is it just generic jobs?
I'm a computer programmer. Pretty boring, to be honest, but once I finish work, it's all about the band in my free time.
Oh, he's so dedicated, Steve.
Yeah, he's such a trooper.
he is actually one of the most straight ahead people that I know, because I tend to write riffs in an alcoholic haze.
Oh yeah.
Then I send them around, and then I have to ask Steve what I played.
I have to figure it out first. That's the hard bit.
Steve's the workhorse.
Yeah.
I do that for piano though. When you write stuff on piano.
I don't know. Right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
You just don't write it down.
No, he doesn't.
Anyway, back on topic. What do you do for work?
Well, this is an incredibly boring thing to talk about, because, I mean, here we go, an SDE administrator. You have to pronounce the SDE as if you...
Well, I mean...
that's so not the image I want to project to people.
I mean, if that makes you uncomfortable, we can talk about anything under the sun. It doesn't have to be your work.
You guys are the guests. You can talk about whatever you like.
And the computer programmers and the SDE guys like, oh, now you tell us.
I work for a housing association.
And you don't have to hold your tongues. If you want to swear, you can go ahead and swear, because we have this set for adults.
So...
I work for a housing association, dealing with people who are breaching their tenancy agreements and stuff. So
You actually do something that matters.
I take people to court and things like that.
That's so cool. President lawyer.
I'm not actually a lawyer.
Oh my.
All right, we better not screw up. I don't want to go to international court here.
Nope.
So yeah, it's kind of very social. A lot of my job, I'm in social housing for people who can't afford mainstream rents and things like that. So
Oh,
it's quite
nice.
stressful. So the band is a really good sort of release after work.
Yeah, I think that's the key, isn't it? That's the underlying factor, is that no matter what gets you down during the working day, you can still look forward to practice and talking about practice and talking about the next practice. So everything is hinged upon the band, and if you have a bad day, or if you had a bad experience, you can put that into the medium of music and medium of words, and then turn it into something positive.
All right. Well, how about an interesting road story? Do y'all have an interesting story?
Well, yeah, there's so in Kraken, we were all like very tired the next day, because obviously we had like 36 hours of no sleep. It wasn't any soup. That's the point of this story, right? I know. That's like saying the punchline before you even told the joke. Anyway,
You went off too early.
Yeah, we had very little sleep, so the next day, obviously, we were all kind of wake up, and we had like sort of 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and we were all kind of weary. But one thing that we could take from the Kraken tour was there was just a sign on one of the vending machines outside, which just said "Pas de soup," which means no soup. There is no soup. And we just called the tour "There is no soup tour." So we just called it Pas de soup tour. And we had this guy dressed in panda suit really randomly, traveling with us. He was from Belgium. And like we just kept saying "Pas de soup" all the time. And he was just looking at us like we're just some crazy bunch of people just going "Pas de soup" all the time.
So he'd come home with us in a hotel and was sleeping in one of our friends' rooms.
Just on the floor.
And then we were going back to Calais to get our ferry, and we had to like let this panda out.
We released him. We released him to the wild.
to the outskirts of Calais, and he just wandered off. Nobody was in the middle of nowhere. There was no buildings or anything. We were just, all there was fields and trees around the place, and we just stopped in this lay-by, and he just ran out across the field just in a panda suit. Bless him up. Panda onesie. But also, underneath his panda onesie, though, he was wearing our t-shirt. Oh, hang on, we're talking over each other. That's right. Okay, so underneath his panda onesie, he's actually wearing our band t-shirt. And then we saw him again. He came to Dames of Darkness Festival, and he was still in his panda onesie outfit then. But even then, still underneath his panda onesie, he still had our band t-shirt on. We have a dedicated panda fan.
You spend the intervening time walking from Belgium across the land to Hale and Gorm.
Maybe you guys can call one of your. Maybe you guys can call one.
Into the trouble I'm just under. I'm here.
Maybe one of your tours could be called Panda Onesie.
Me and Dan with the panda on YouTube. It's on our channel, isn't it? Which he did because he was part of he's part of Muses of Metal, and he tends to go to all the gigs like Kraken and female metal voices fest. Yeah.
That's cool.
Metal female voices fest, which is also in Belgium, and he does interviews with different bands. So yeah.
Yeah, he was cool.
That was
actually.
funny.
He was
David.
Well,
just dropping this guy in a panda onesie off in this random, isolated, desolate bit of the motorway. It's like we just booted him out of this bus.
There was a very confused motorist just driving past going, what the hell?
Someone was taking mushrooms or something and just think, what the what?
That's how we filmed it, actually.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if this would be a contact or anything, but we had a guy on the show. His name's Ken Pike. He's from this metal band called Absalon, and I think you all, the way your lyrics are and everything, I think you all, and the way that their band is, if you check them out, on YouTube, it's Absalon.
ABSALON.
Yeah, I think they all. I think both groups would really mesh well, and that might be somebody you could contact. I mean, I'm not saying he'd get back to you, but you never know. So.
Did you say Ken? What did you say his name was?
His name is Ken Pike.
Ken? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Find out.
We'll find out.
Thank you.
Cool, thanks very much.
Not a problem, and I'm sure he listens to the show. He's like, I wonder if you give my name out. How dare you?
Well, hi.
No, but if you listen to his music, I mean, they're the same way. They're story driven and very musically. How do I explain it? Talented. Where there's a lot of bands that aren't, and they've got, it's the same three chords where, you all got harmony like Absalon does, and it's kind of like a dream theater. That's what I'm trying to get to. You have to know what you're doing.
Well, there's an element of attempting to have a kind of a prog styling. We're nowhere near in Dream Theater's kind of scope of musicianship.
No. I'm not saying that, but compared to most bands out there, you are.
Having sex with other people if I had to reach that level of musicianship. I mean, these guys, they're great and they look lovely on stage, but how much sex have you had to have missed to play your keyboard that well?
But what I'm saying is you have to, in order to do, the type of music that you do and, Absalon and, progressive metal or melodic, story driven, I'd rather say, is you need to have, talent there. And your band is very, talented. When I originally spoke with Jenna, and she was like, well, check out our band. And I'm like, well, all you had to say was you were from the UK, and I would have been like, all right. That's where Ozzy's from, so hell yeah.
Cool, I'm glad you did check us out.
But the reason that you're here and everything is so people can find out where your music is and what tours are you going on to, or what shows are you playing? What's going on in your life as far as music-wise? Or are they just taking a back seat due to the expectancy?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're not doing any gigs at the moment. We're hoping to do one possibly in November, though. Possibly, yeah. So, fingers crossed. But at the moment, though, we're still rehearsing every week. We're writing new stuff. We're rehearsing all our older songs as well, because even though there's only 4 tracks on the EP, that we've got enough songs written now for an album. So we're just going over those, really, perfecting those and writing the new stuff.
What we would quite like to do is to utilise this downtime, as it were, in a kind of a positive way. So what we'd like to do is to try and make some user videos, so people who have listened to our stuff and who like it. We want to try and make a compilation video of webcam stuff, them dancing about or doing silly stuff, or have put masks on themselves or anything. So if anyone's interested in the US who's listening, please get in contact, because this would be quite cool, especially if we can get to utilise some people from across the pond. And we've made some videos, and we've got some photos and things that we'll slowly be releasing in a kind of drip feed fashion over the few months that it takes for Rebecca to have that.
That now, huh? Is it that? It's twins, and when it comes out with twins, I'm running.
Call it drummer baby.
Ray and Ray too. I expect them.
For right now, just call it drummer baby, since the baby seems to like to play the drums.
We call it baby.
There you go.
Kind of oven.
Oh my!
Got fun in my Incardinine oven.
Coming straight from the Incardinine oven.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping to get back to practicing with the guys in the early autumn, and then to be seeing how things go, either late in the year or early next year.
All right, so
there is no strict time schedule. It's all based on whatever happens with Rebecca.
all right. So how can people find your music? Because that's the main thing. And where can they buy it at?
You can find our music on Facebook. There's links on there. There's links on to CD Baby. They can buy it online. They can get it from iTunes,
Bandcamp,
and Bandcamp as well. So there's plenty of links around.
And you can also listen to our EP on Reverb Nation. That would be the main place to listen to it. And then, as Chris said as well, there's places then you can then go and buy it if you so wish. Or if there's any listeners out there who are in the UK, then we can post them copies of the EP as well.
Yeah, if they send us a picture of one of their body parts.
For the attention of Dan Bignell. We're trying to do that. Dan, yeah.
I don't care what it is.
We're just going to get loads of yeah, we're going to get loads of pictures of people's ears or their their nose, nostrils, and their pinkies. Oh yeah.
And for those that are looking at the spelling, I spelled it wrong once again. I'm an idiot. All right, it's spelled Incarnadine, Coven. If you can't spell Coven, you got a problem. So, here's a generic, question I ask everybody, but I like to, since there's 5 different people, I'm expecting 5 different answers. Well, they're probably all going to be the same. But if somebody were to come up, want to, do music, knowing how hard, it can be to be on the, road or doing like gigs and whatnot, what advice would you give them to follow their dreams?
Well, first thing is that you've got to not think of it as a dream. Dreams are nebulous. They are, you can't really grasp them. You have to put it in, and you have to cement it in somehow. And you have to also do it with just for the pure love of it. Like, you have to sit in your bedroom and you have to really enjoy what you're doing. And even though that no one may never hear what you're hearing, what you're making, you still have to believe that it's still good stuff. It doesn't mean that you should become completely isolated from criticism. You should still listen to the people who have heard your stuff and listen to the people who have negative feedback and see whether or not it kind of jives with what you think it sounds like. But I don't like the word dreams. It seems to be a little bit sort of fanciful and empty for me. I think you learn by doing. At first, I didn't have any official guitar lessons at all. I just picked up a guitar and I just practiced for 5 hours a day until I could work out what sounded good and what didn't sound good. And I think that's pretty much a similar story around the rest of the band. If someone wants to contradict me, they may.
It's completely different. I had classical lessons since the age of 11. First of all, I played flute. Got up to grade 5 in that, did my grade 5 music theory, and then done up to grade 5 piano. And I learned to read music at the age of 7. So, I've had a very different background to music.
Yeah, but that wasn't the question. The question was, what would you advise people who wanted to make music as a hobby or as a career, and they wanted to follow their dreams?
It depends on how you're going to
would you
go
suggest
about
people learning it by rate as you've done, or
it depends on what you're capable or able to do. Not everybody can just play by ear.
I think it's useful to do a bit of both. I think if you have the capacity and the resources to get some formal training, then it's never going to do you any harm and it can only help. But I do think if you want to be in a band, that having a natural musicianship, if you like, and an ability to improvise and to not really worry about precisely what it is that you're playing or singing is quite important, because you can be more creative, I think, that way.
But you also suggest that being in a band is more than just being a musician in your particular field.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, one of our skills and one of our strengths, is that we just get on with each other, and we make each other laugh, and we laugh until the cows fly home.
You could have 5 extremely talented musicians put together, as a former band. If they don't work well together, they're not going to get very far. They might have disagreements, different musical directions, but we gel well together.
I think the main thing is to enjoy what you're doing and just strive to be the best you can, really, and just see where that takes you. I don't think you can force things in the music world. And I mean, a lot.
Never expect things to happen.
No, I mean, we didn't at all. It started off as really just a project, and we thought it might never get out of the Cubase project, to be honest.
But we did.
But it got to a point where we thought actually we could play this live, so we got people involved, and then really it's been quite a chain of just good fortune, and it is who you know, not what you know. It's meeting the right people who like your stuff and champion you, introduce you to other bands and opportunities. We wouldn't have got to play in Belgium if we hadn't gone and watched Days of Darkness last year, and I hadn't spoken to the organiser of that, given him the details of our band, so that he listened to our stuff and then invited us to start doing some gigs with his band. So, and it kind of just builds from there. That's the contact, really.
the advice I would give any sort of budding drummer, I mean, one of the first things I thought when I picked up the drums at the age of 11, I said to my dad, I just want to make loud noises in front of as many people as possible and have fun doing it. And I've done that. So
there you go.
that's the job done. I'm a happy man now. So and if anything, even if there's going to be more people in the future, then that's fine by me.
Bonus.
You've done that.
Bonus.
You've bought a house.
Yeah.
You've married. You've married a woman. You've had sex while playing Frogger. You're ticking off your list, can't you?
I've also with something like singing. If you want to sing properly, you really need to learn how to do it properly, though, because it's part of your body, and if you don't do it right, you'll end up losing your voice. So, and to be able to sing, for a whole set and not wreck your voice, you've got to have a certain amount of technique. You can't really teach yourself that, I don't think, because it's something that you've got to kind of, have someone who knows what they're doing kind of teach you.
I think with any instrument, you need to start with the basics.
Yeah.
Get good
I
grounding.
thought you were going to say the bass.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
It's a guitar.
Especially with the bass.
There's Stephen Wallace, the bass is.
I would say so. Piano. Definitely the best instrument. So.
Yeah. So what were you about to say?
I was going to say, if you're, don't jump into complicated stuff. If you're finding it hard, go right back to the basics and then just work up from there slowly.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I think the point that you made, Rebecca, was quite interesting, especially for singers. I think the amount of people who claim to be singers and call themselves vocalists, maybe, they just think that just because you can utilize a microphone and make a loud noise doesn't necessarily mean you're any good. And they'll find in about 2-3 years that if they keep on grunting and growling and screaming without any technique whatsoever, they will end up with vocal polyps, and then you're done. You've lost your instrument.
Yeah.
You have to take up the banjo or the accordion.
Noble instruments, noble.
You have to start hitting pans around your kitchen, Chris.
Got to start somewhere.
Or end there. You'll end up in 80 years old in your old person's home.
I don't think we're really at a place where we can say we've made it, so we can really give decent advice. But all we can say is, so far we've just had fun, really, and followed our crazy little journey and.
Don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, no, exactly. Just enjoy what you do is what I would say. Cause,
but
to have success, you might as well enjoy it, and then if you don't have success, it doesn't matter because you've had a good time.
We do really kill the piss take per second ratio, I think, when we're in band practice. So we're all comfortable with each other's company. That's a very underrated.
But I mean, you can't really downgrade yourself either, because in a way you are successful because you enjoy what you do. And there's so many out there that don't get to enjoy what they do, and they have got boring jobs like a computer programmer. I'm just kidding. I'm a computer graduate myself, so.
I think we definitely would advise don't give up the day job until you make it big, though. Yeah.
You need a steady income.
You need to make the money so you can go down the studio.
Drums don't buy themselves.
Nor do keyboards and laptops and sound cards and all that
Well,
stuff.
this is the proper way to go about being in a band, isn't it? The bands who really make it, really dedicate everything that they have, or they have some like a sugar daddy who can supply them with amounts of financial backing. It's the ones who really give up everything and just go for break. Most of them end up broke.
And most of them that sign contracts end up broke as well. But, we've really enjoyed you on the show and everything. And I think it, was an absolute, pleasure to have you all on the show. I mean, we're speaking with Rebecca, Dan, Stephen, Chris, and Jenna, from Incardinine Coven. And do you all have any last words for our audience?
Thanks for having us. We've had a really good time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys for coming on.
Check out the music.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
We've
I'd
enjoyed.
like to say a personal thank you to you, Ray. I mean, this has been quite a wonderful experience. Actually, we're all huddled around in Stephen's computer room, smelling each other's sweat. It's a little bit moist over here, and I'm still trying to get over the surreal nature of being on a radio show in the US. So it's nice to know that there's people out there just fighting for local independent music, and I thank you for that.
Well, we've enjoyed having you, and we absolutely love your music, and we hope to hear more. We're very excited for, to have another album or whatever come out. That would be awesome.
Yeah, we'll definitely, play, your songs a lot. The way we have it, because some artists complain about downloads and everything, we're going to have it not downloadable. However, anybody can play it at any time. So it is what it is.
Yep, that's fine by us.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on to Local Radio. We'll definitely have you on maybe later in the year. Let us know, what you got going on.
Definitely. And good luck with... I'm sorry.
The plan is to make you a little jingle, is it not?
And we want
to. You had that competition going about making a 2-minute jingle for Too Loco.
An hours in my bath coming up with it.
We do have that. We do have that.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll be submitting an entry.
Oh well, there you go.
That's awesome.
There you go.
And Rebecca, good luck and congrats on the baby.
Thank you very much.
And we wish all of you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
And a very special thanks to Jenna, because if it weren't for her, reaching out to us, this would have never been possible. Thank you so much.
Definitely, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ray.
All right. Well, you all have a wonderful late night, because out here it's evening, but over there it's probably 10, 11 o'clock at night. So.
Yeah, it's 10 past 10 here now, so I'm guessing it's 10 past 5 over there.
There you go. It's 5:11.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
thank you very much.
You take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
All right. Well, that was Incardinine Coven, and they're a metal band out of the UK. They're very story-driven. I think them and Absalom would work out well. I don't know what Ken's reaction would be. If you're upset about that, please contact me on Facebook.
I'm sure he's not. I'm sure he'd be very excited.
Yeah. I'm sure he would, actually.
Very nice.
But here's the deal. To stay tuned, 10:30 we have C-Rock. He is a hip-hop artist, but you know what? I think he's more of a... As far as the old school, he's got a new school flavor, but old school, hip hop.
Style, right.
He's been on the stage with Chuck D and people like that.
Awesome.
Exactly. And look forward to him at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you again. I want to personally thank Rebecca, who's having the baby, Dan, the guitarist, Steven, the bassist, Chris, the drummer, and Jenna, the keyboardist, who made it all possible. We also want to thank Reverb Nation, as always, for these band submissions and everything, and allowing us to do this.
Yes, we do.
We love Reverb. And we want to thank Spreaker and Uber, because they provide a way for us to have this platform.
Be able to have this opportunity to have our show that we love so much doing.
Exactly, and I think we belong on iHeart at some point. I'm not yelling, I'm just saying.
And I think, I think they made a good point about doing something because you love it, not because you want to make money at it, and that seems to be what we do. And from our other jobs that we do, we do this as a relaxation, and it does find it very relaxing. After a hard day to come in here and do our show, it's relaxing and it's fun,
At the end of the day, it's still a business, and the minute that I could, that we could make enough money to do this full time, we'd be doing this 8 hours a day.
Oh, definitely.
And I would not be working. No disrespect to my other job.
Oh, no.
But
yeah, no, we love this that much. That's how much we love doing this. This is how much fun it is for us,
Exactly. But we're not going to take up, too much longer of your time. I'm going to play Journey's End, a little bit of it, and we're going to call it a day till tonight.
Okay.
You're listening to 2 Local Radio, 86.5 Loco, and we just had a band from England. 10 years ago, that was not possible. But now, with technology, anything's possible. And here is Journey's End. Because they were such a great band, I'm going to play a little bit of Marble Heart as well.
Driving through the night as misty sands, fleeing from your bite and my fascination with fear. The hunter of my dreams is chasing me to steal my soul. Chasing me to steal my soul. The harbinger of hate, the predator of love, invading my thoughts, abducting my mind. This life is not enough. This is not my world. A preternatural entity, a harvesting parasite running straight through
right, that was Marble Heart. Before that was Journey's End. If you want to hear more of their music, hello, buy their music. Help these people out.
Definitely. They are definitely very talented.
Not just listen, buy the music. You know, these indie artists don't have the major marketing that major labels have, and everything matters to them. You know, that little bit of money that you think is not much, to them is gold. It's worth gold.
Exactly.
That could be an extra paycheck.
Exactly.
And, you know, if they're listening, if you'd like to send to local radio a signed autograph of your little EP or your album or whatever, we greatly appreciate it, but it's not necessary. We do understand postage all the way from the UK is expensive. But the one last thing I wanted to say before we get out of here is when he was talking about dreams, I loved it. I forgot which, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was it was either Dan or Steven. I believe it was Dan, the guitarist. If I'm wrong, I do apologize. But when you know, he was talking about dreams and, you know, basically saying dreams are imaginary because if you don't put them into work, it's still just a dream. It's a figment of your imagination until you make it into something.
You will never get there. It'll just be a thought in your head if you don't do anything about it. If you say, oh, well, I want to do this, and then you never do anything about it, yeah, you're not going to ever get there. That's exactly right.
Yeah, you have to put the work involved into it.
Definitely. The work, the heart, you know, everything.
Because I could say, hey, I want a nice house. Everyday dream, I want a nice house. But until I go out and get the money to get this nice house, guess what? Nobody's going to give me a nice house.
Exactly.
Life don't work that way. And like I say on almost every show, you know, you need to turn lemons into apple ciders. And people say, well, hey, there's no apple in lemons. That would be lemonade. But no, you have to think outside the box. You have to have this vision that you cannot see, and it has to portray into, by work, into something.
Dream bigger. Always dream bigger.
Yeah,
always reach further for what you want, and you will eventually get there.
Yeah, people say you can't fly. Hello, I got a helicopter. Hello, there's a plane.
Exactly.
I mean, if you put in your imagination and you build it, eventually people will see it, and eventually people will recognize, and eventually, you know, it will either come into play or, hello, Benjamin, Franklin had a bunch of failed experiments.
Exactly. And it started out a dream, but he made it possible by keep on trying.
And according to Temple, he wasn't the originator of the electricity. He just patented the idea.
Oh, okay.
That's what Temple said on one of the shows. See, I listen.
You're right.
Listen is key.
I heard him.
But I hope you enjoyed Incardinine Coven. And I hope you listen to them, and I hope you catch their Facebook page and say hi to them. And, you know, if you can, tell them, hey, we heard you on Too Loco, and we love you. We love your music, and we'd like to know more about you. And if you don't, mention us, that's fine, too. We don't need credit. We'd rather you just go and find their band. Talk to the band, or any band that comes on.
They are very nice. They're a very nice group.
But I don't want to ramble on. Join us 10:30 C-Rock. This is 86.5 Loco to Loco Radio. This is Ray Ray.
And this is Chrissy D. God bless.
I'll see you at 10:30. Peace.